And while the majority of South Africans' eyes will be on the Springboks as they take on New Zealand to win a record of 4th world crown, there are 2 other national teams that will also be in action over the weekend, the men's and women's hockey teams, as they look to secure their berth at the Olympic Games in Paris next year. They, along with 7 other teams from the continent, will be vying for exactly the same tickets. Despite the problems seen in the sports, both camps, the men's and the women's, are confident. Yolulwe Qoshe has more.
Both the South African men's and women's hockey sides are set to take part in the African leg of the Olympic qualifiers for 2024 Paris, which will take place from the 29th of October till the 5th of November. The coach of the men's side, Newzroom, says he's looking forward to some key encounters in their pool.
I think Zimbabwe first up is going to be a tough one for us. We haven't played against them in a few years, so it's going to be really tough. But then again, we're not sure what to expect from Uganda. I haven't seen them at one for a while. And Nigeria is going to be tough. They've got some good rag flickers in their squad, so we're hoping not to concede too many short corners. Yeah.
Guy is also buoyed by the amount of experienced campaigners he has in his team, saying at least 7 of these players have experience on Olympic Games.
We've unfortunately had some injury issues. We've got 3 of our defenders out with knee injuries, and 1 of our goalkeepers had to withdraw because of leave issues. So 4 of the players that we thought we would be part of our selection process is not here, but that gives an opportunity to some of the youngsters that's been training with us, and I'm sure they will fill their shoes quite well. About 7 of our players that's been in Tokyo, and I think about 9 of them that's been to a World Cup. So we have quite an experienced team. Although they're young, they're experienced.
One of those players is skipper Diane Kasim, and he spoke about the challenges of getting the squad together for this training program.
Especially guys coming from Europe, we had to fund our own way to get here, and a flight from Europe to here is 25,000 Rand. So it's not easy, and of course we had a selection camp which we're still in now. So example, the European guys that came late, imagine they don't get selected, then what happens? Then they have to go back, and 25,000 Rand is not cheap. So yeah, I think it's been really difficult, and also for the local guys, they had to pay like 3,000 Rand to get here, so that's also been tough. And yeah, it's just those small things that, you know, if you get the support from people and companies and those stuff, it pushes you to be better.
Experienced senior player Celia Serran expanded on the experiences they've had with similar issues on the women's side, but added there are no excuses.
I think there's really a huge talent coming through the youngsters. They really are so good. They're skillful, they're fast, they're fit, and they play with no fear. So for them to have the privilege of being centralized, of being funded, of having the opportunities to tour and to travel and to play more international games, that would be a real blessing and a huge step forward in the right direction. I think we definitely, obviously everyone speaks about funding, and there's no beating around the bush about it. It's got to do with funding, but also I think the girls, yes, if there is funding, it's a commitment that you have to make, and it's a sacrifice.
Assistant coach of the women's side, Inki Zondi, was excited about this qualification process, saying that he sees it as a fresh start.
We've had a really good opportunity to have a thorough look at the squad as it is and select a team, and I think for us that was really crucial, having brought some new players into the team. It's a new year for us in the cycle, so we're really focused on the Olympic Games. Everyone will have a chance, but for now we think we've picked the best team to hopefully get us the ticket to Paris.
There will be 16 African teams fighting for 2 spots to represent the continent at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, with those battles taking place at this AstroTurf behind me at the Tuks High Performance Center. For Newzroom Afrika, Channel 405, I am Yolulwe Qoshe at the Tuks High Performance Center in Pretoria.